It's time to kick back, forget about your trouble, and have a good time. Wind River Resort and Casino is proud to welcome Uncle Krueger back to the Event Center stage Friday, August 14th. Drift away with his signature laid-back blend of country, pop, and rock, spiked with a splash of hip-hop. Tickets for this feel-good summertime show start at just $25 plus fees. Smile as you enjoy over 2 decades of multi-platinum top charters. Reserve tickets today at windriver.com. Your adventure begins here. Wind River Resort and Casino.
Well, good morning. It is Wednesday, July 29th. So glad you could join us here this morning on Coffee with Krueger. We are looking at a live shot from our Divine Sky Cam in a typical gorgeous morning. It's getting a little bit warmer and warmer each morning, and I do expect that will be the case here over the next few days. We are seeing the visibility drop a bit along the coast. That fog, the marine layer, has really decided to go ahead and hug the coast there, and now we're down to about mile visibility in Crescent City, Eureka, even the Hoopa Valley seeing some of that fog as well. There's a look at Crescent City Harbor District, and there you can see that low clouds and fog. Can't even see the lighthouse typically that we can see here off in the distance here out in Crescent City Harbor District. Yeah, a little overcast this morning. Let's get into Krueger's quick cast for your Wednesday, July 29th. The mosquito meter is still at a 3 throughout the week. We do have a little bit of advice to help keep your backyard and your yard in general from becoming a breeding ground for mosquitoes, such as just making sure you don't have any standing water. So things like items outside of your home, tires, miscellaneous items, and junk. And a lot of junk can hold some of that water too. Toys, tire swings, basketball hoop bases, lily pots, and water gardens. All right, there you go. Looks like we've got Jackie from Trinidad saying, good morning. From Trinidad, we have a bit of moisturizer this morning. Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like we are seeing, of course, that fog that we are typically seeing out in parts of the North Coast. Taking a look at temperatures this morning, yeah, it's pretty mild and running at about 70, even warmer in Chico at about 72, generally in the 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, and upper 50s right now for you along the coast. Moisturizer. Yeah, I was wondering about that, but I just thought maybe you meant because it was nice, but moisture. That's what she meant instead of the moisturizer. All right, so take a look out the door this morning. There are the foggy conditions we have along the coast. That's, again, pretty standard. Otherwise, you've got the sunny skies pretty much anywhere else you go in Northern California. So, although some of those inland valleys are seeing some of that fog that's near the coast. But otherwise, we are seeing the area of low pressure over the Gulf of Alaska, high pressure over the desert Southwest. They're pretty much doing their job and kind of staying put, really. There's that marine layer along the coast. I think it's going to have a hard time burning off this afternoon for many of you along the coast. There may be some burn off in some areas here with some sunshine later on this morning and afternoon, but otherwise, I do expect to see those clouds kind of sticking around for many of you along the coast. If swamp cooler is the way you cool off, well, looks like you're in pretty good shape. If you are happy with this performance yesterday, you should be happy with this performance today because it's going to be about the same with that cooler output of about 76 degrees. Taking a look at the afternoon highs for today, we're talking upper 90s to a little over 100 degrees in the valley. Really a bit of a carbon copy of what we saw yesterday. 101 for Redding, 99 for Chico, 80s and 90s for the mountains, and mid-60s for the coast. And for tonight, we're dropping down to the mid to upper 60s, even some low 70s for some of the warmer spots in the valley, 50s for the higher elevations, and low to mid-50s for the coast. Looking at your 7-day outlook for the valley, we're starting to warm things up a bit. By Friday, up to 104. Now, one thing you'll notice, look at the 7-day forecast. Boy, it's not quite as hot as we initially thought, is it? We were thinking about 108, maybe 109. Not the case anymore. Latest forecast models are kind of backing down on the extent of the heat wave, but still hot nonetheless. Temperatures mid-60s for the coast, 80s and 90s inland, 90s, even some triple digits for Trinity County. Mainly in the 90s for the higher elevations, including Siskiyou, Modoc County, and the eastern mountains. Here's your fire weather outlook. Take a look at the latest fires out there. Most of them are east of the valley and really not seeing much change, reporting much of the same information throughout the week and even since last week for the 3-1 pit fire at 95% containment. Same story for the Loomis fire, also at 95% contained. And there you can see the Biscar fire. There is, just under 70,000 acres that have burned there. Haven't seen this fire perimeter change much, and now at 98% containment. And by the way, not one evacuation not one evacuation warning that is, or order, for all of Northern California at this point in time. Take a look at the winds. I want to show you the winds because, yes, it's going to be your typical afternoon and evening gust that we'll be seeing here over the next couple of days, continuing into your Thursday, continuing into your Friday. But look at Saturday. Saturday, you can see, especially for the west side of the valley and in particular Tehama County, we're talking 25 and over 30-mile-an-hour gusts and maybe even stronger than that, especially on the west side of the valley. Now, that's going to have an impact on our fire weather risk. So the fire weather risk is the color coding. Yellows and oranges are typical for this time of the year. That's basically elevated fire weather risk. We also have very low humidity levels, which are the numbers on your screen there. So as we go into your Friday, we're down to the single digits and even into the low to mid-teens for many of the higher elevations. But look at Saturday. You see that little bullseye of red near Red Bluff and in western Tehama County in general? That's those gusty winds I was talking about. That's going to put us in that high to even extreme fire weather risk. So that is definitely something to take into account if you're in that area. The latest on the fires, latest on evacuation warnings and orders, latest on the fire weather data, it's all in one location at weathernorcal.com. Click on that fire danger section. It's a one-stop shop. Maybe even bookmark it. It'd be a nice convenient spot for you to check the latest on the fires. Once again, we take a look at some of the cameras out in the region. Your Redding Divine Sky Cam, looking at the Sacramento River and the Mount Shasta off in the distance. There's your Shasta Lake Sky Cam, looking at Jones Valley Resort, sponsored by Elwood Ranch. Looks like things are fairly calm this morning. If you're out there fishing, should be in pretty good shape. Lake Shastina Golf Resort, also sponsored by Elwood Ranch. Not a cloud to be seen, just plenty of sunshine out there this morning. There's a look at Soda Ridge, and it looks like you've got clear skies, a bit of that haze and smoke off in the distance. That's looking up to the north. There's a look at Lake Oroville. We have another perspective from Lake Oroville as well. This is Highway 99 at Neal Road is what we've got. And there you can see the sunny skies that we have out there as well. There's a look at Crescent City Harbor District, the overcast skies, and 1 mile visibility pretty much up and down the coast this morning. Unfortunately, the Bald Hill West camera is still pointed downward. It'd be nice to take a look at that Hoopa Valley to see if there's any fog there, and I'd be willing to guess there is because we have some lower visibility there. Out at Fort Jones, looking at Scott Valley, we got plenty of sunshine, and we have got our Coffee with Krueger sponsor, which is Wind River Resort and Casino.
Get ready to laugh until it hurts. The legendary Gary Owen is bringing his unfiltered, unscripted, and wildly hilarious No Hard Feelings tour to the Wind River Event Center Sunday, August 30th. Voted one of the most in-demand touring comedians in the country. This event is sure to make you laugh from the start. Tickets start at just $60 plus fees. For all the details or to snag your tickets, call 1-800-280-YOU-WIN. Your adventure begins here at Wind River Resort and Casino.
So we just finished here Krueger's Quickcast and the look at the fires, and you know what that means? It is time for our deep dive forecast, where we kind of really go into the extended outlook and what's causing, well, our current conditions and what we expect in the days to come. So just slightly above normal pretty much for today and for tomorrow. Not much change, maybe a little bit warmer for tomorrow. Bigger heat by Friday into the weekend, and it stays with that bigger heat through a majority, if not all, of next week. But that bigger heat I've been talking about, not as big as we initially thought. Interesting, right? So take a look at the temperatures out there right now. Upper 60s, maybe even around 70 for your current temperatures right now, about 70 degrees for Redding, 72 in Chico. Temperatures mainly in the 40s and 50s for the higher elevations, although Wairika and Susanville right at 60. Upper 50s for Crescent City and Eureka. So your satellite image, we've got the monsoonal moisture over the desert southwest. We've got low pressure over the Gulf of Alaska. I sound like a broken record. This has pretty much been the case here for the last several weeks. That cooler air, by the way, over the Gulf of Alaska is important because without it there, we would be much, much hotter as that ridge of high pressure over the desert southwest would be able to build in. Now, you can see Genevieve is continuing to weaken. 2 days ago, Category 5. Yesterday, Category 4. Today, at least this morning, a Category 3. Also, Fausto to the north of the Hawaiian Islands is now a tropical depression. So it too has weakened significantly, as Genevieve will also weaken as it moves to the north and west and goes into the colder Pacific waters. Still having a bit of an impact on those coastal waters on the beaches of California. There still is a beach hazard statement for southern Humboldt County through 6 p.m. this evening. That risk for sneaker waves is going to be the biggest concern. So what's the reason for all of, well, the heat, really, right? So you've got that cooler air of Gulf of Alaska. That's what I was talking about, right? You've got the heat over the desert southwest. That heat continues to slowly expand into our region. You can see the center of that dome of high pressure is now over Southern California, parts of Arizona, southern Nevada, even southwestern parts of Utah as well. So that's where the biggest heat is going to be. But it's not directly over us here in Northern California. And as a result, not as hot as we initially thought. Now, that being said, that ridge is awfully close. And you can bet it's going to be a lot hotter. So we're talking 103 to 106 degrees in the valley, with the hottest temperatures being in the north end of the valley. And we're also looking at warmer temperatures for the mountains as well. Now, that ridge of high pressure kind of stays put, but look what happens. It's getting weaker. We don't have a prominent arc, right, that we see with their typical ridge of high pressure. That's typically the sign of a strong ridge. When you flatten out that arc and that ridge of high pressure, it's a sign of a weakening ridge of high pressure. So as a result, what that means is not as hot. And I say not as hot because it still will be hot. The temperature is still well over 100 degrees in many cases for the valley. Now, what's going to happen as we go through the end of next weekend, even into that next weekend, we have an elongated ridge of high pressure. Once again, a sign of a not, well, should I say, a fairly weak ridge of high pressure. As these storm systems continue to ride over that ridge, it keeps us from getting as hot as we could. So the models have really backed down significantly on just how hot it's going to get and the extent of this ridge of high pressure and the heat. It's going to be a prolonged heat wave, though. We are looking at temperatures in that 103 to 106 degree range. Closer to that 106 and slightly higher for Redding. Closer to that 103 to 104 for places like Chico through the extended outlook. And that's going to be through all of next week and most likely into that next weekend. So here's your 10-day trend for Redding in particular. 101 is the normal high. We'll be up around that today and tomorrow. Temperatures starting to increase on Friday, 104. And really, if you average out Friday through the weekend, through all of next week, the average high will be 104 to 106 degrees for Redding. Shave off 2 to 3 degrees from all of that, and that's what you have for Chico. So here's a look at the lake levels, right? We're still at about 99% at Shasta Lake, still over 100% for Trinity and Lake Oroville as well. The wave heights are still going to be fairly high for today, especially for some of those south-facing beaches. But I do expect the wave heights to most likely drop a little bit here for your Thursday. So here's what we have for your Wednesday. North winds 10 to 15 knots, waves from the northwest at 5 feet at 8 seconds, and from the southwest at 2 feet at about 17 seconds. Your neighborhood forecast, sponsored by Dignity Health and Grange Co-op. Well, it's going to be hot, right? Pretty much any way you look at it. Temperatures mid to upper 90s for Trinity County, although places like Burnt Ranch, High and Palm, Mad River, and Ruth, kind of on the west side of Trinity County, more like the 80s. 85 in Alder Point, 86 for Garberville, and 69 in Blue Lake. The coast is going to be looking at temperatures in the mid-60s on average for the next 7 days. For the inland areas, there's that bump in the temperatures. It's getting much warmer, especially as we do go into early next week. Siskiyou County, low to mid-90s today, although places like Tennant about 89. 89 for Doris, and 90 degrees in McDowell. There's a look at 93 for Fort Bidwell, 83 degrees, 89, that is in Cedarville. And there you can see Tule Lake about 89. Eastern Mountains, Susanville 95. And look at that spike in the temperatures. Upper 90s by Friday through the weekend and into early next week. For the south end of the valley, upper 90s there as well. Chico about 99. And for all intents and purposes, if you hit 100 degrees, don't be surprised. That's the case again tomorrow. 101 to 103 for Friday through the weekend and into early next week. 101 for Redding, 99 for Red Bluff, 101 Palo Cedro, and Lakehead, a high of about 95 degrees. And look at your 7-day forecast for Redding. We're up to 105 by Saturday, 106 Sunday, Monday. And as I mentioned, that average high for Friday through all of next week is going to be 104 to 106. Now, you'll notice that my 7-day forecast is going to be a bit cooler than some of the surrounding forecasting offices around the area. That's again because as I look at those forecast models, I'm seeing that trend downward with those daytime highs. And it's that little glimmer of hope. We'll see. We'll see if this sticks. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and commit to the not as hot temperatures, but still looking at highs well above normal for this time of the year. All right, we got a couple of people checking in this morning. Who do we got? We got Tracy Sackett. She is saying, good morning. She's saying, good morning from the MacArthur area. And she's asking, what are the temperatures like where you are? Well, of course, I'm in Baja, Mexico, near a place called La Misión, which is essentially between, if you're familiar with the area, Rosarito and Ensenada. That's kind of where I am for the next week and a half at this point. But Tracy, the temps right now are pretty mild. I mean, it's in the 70s, low to mid 70s. It's been a little foggy at times, just a marine layer, not really terribly low visibility. But yesterday, beautiful day, plenty of sunshine. It was absolutely gorgeous. Spent some time out on the beach with Aiden. He was out there what we call wakeboarding, or what's called wakeboarding. Hopefully, he's going to be learning to surf sometime this week as well. He's never surfed, and he's looking forward to maybe learning how to surf either today, tomorrow, or Friday. He's actually heading back to Redding on Saturday, and then my wife is coming down Saturday as well. So it's going to be kind of a little changing here. And then I'm going to stick around, of course, through the end of next week and then be back home after that. Yeah, but this has been nice. I've really been enjoying my time away. It's nice to break away from the norm. Even though I'm still working, it's not that bad. I love my job. I love what I do. I love what I do for you all. And it's enjoyable. But it's nice to kind of break from the norm, the typical day-to-day, right? You wake up every day, same place. I love Redding. I love the North State. Don't get me wrong, but it's always nice to get away, isn't it? And so I always consider this place here in Baja, Mexico, kind of that home away from home, and hoping to build kind of an even better studio here. I've got a great setup here, though, by the way. I've got a monitor right here. I've got one on this side. I've got another one on this side. I've got what's called a stream deck right there. That is much like my studio that I have. The only thing that I don't have here is a green screen that I can go to, and like a typical green wall that I can stand up and do all my green screen stuff. I'm hoping that the next time I come out here, I will have that capability because I've got the setup here. I could plug in another monitor, I could plug in another camera, I could do the green screen right now, but I just don't have the equipment, so I've got to get that. But this is just kind of, I'm keep stepping it up and making that these visits here much easier to work remotely. It's amazing. It's got amazing internet service out here as well. So there you go. So that should answer your question, Tracy Sackett. All right, let's take a look at here we go. We've got, I did check earlier, nothing terribly exciting with our calendar of the day. National Chicken Wing Day. Of course, my son Aiden loves chicken wings. We may see if we can find some around here so he can celebrate. National Lipstick Day. I don't know if I'll be celebrating that one, but maybe some women will be. Or, someone who enjoys wearing lipstick in general. National Lasagna Day. Who doesn't love lasagna, right? Good stuff. And that's about it. Yeah. See 4 more? No, I didn't think so. I didn't think there were more. Yeah, kind of a ho-hum day when it comes to the actual national calendar day, but well, there you go. All right, we're going to go ahead and leave you with some cool stuff here. And when I say cool stuff, because I love the cameras. And I love the cameras that we have here in the North State, exclusive to Weather NorCal. And we're going to take a look at those. And there's a new camera that we are working on. And hopefully in the next month or so, we will have that camera up and running. It's going to be awesome. I'm very excited about it. So be on the lookout for that as well. And by the way, if you are curious and want to know, I'm going to take you to weathernorcal.com. And so here's weathernorcal.com, right? So if you see right here, it says Sky Cams up at the top. I've got 3 Sky Cams right now here at Weather NorCal. This is the Divine Sky Cam on top of Divine Restaurant right here. And you click right there and it gives you a full screen. Now on top of that, you get weather information, temperature, humidity, the works, right? Now, when you want to go back to the main page, you just click on the back button here. You can see there's one for Shasta Lake out at Jones Valley Resort. And we've also got one in Siskiyou County at the Lake Shastina Golf Resort, looking at a beautiful shot of Mount Shasta. So just some great resources for you to check out our local area in Northern California, some of the beautiful shots that we have here. As I said, in the next month or two, see this little blank spot right here? I'm hoping to fill that with another camera that we are currently kind of just getting the specifics on where it's going to go and all of that good stuff, how we're going to get internet access out to that location. So yeah, it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful shot, and I'm looking forward to it. So once again, we're going to take a look at some of the other cameras in the area. Let's start off with our Redding Divine Sky Cam. Absolutely gorgeous right there, overlooking the Sacramento River, and of course have got the mountain. Again, I want to thank you for watching this morning, and I'll see you tomorrow morning right here on Coffee with Krueger.